Money and Market Minute on Newstalk 1230 WFVA.
Newstalk 1230 WFVA. Time is 8:09 this morning. I'm Ted Schubell, and this morning we're talking traffic and roads. On the program, we welcome to the program from the American Traffic Safety Services Association based in Stafford, Roger Wentz. Roger, welcome to the program.
Thanks, glad to be here.
A lot of us are probably surprised to know that your organization, which is a national organization based in Stafford County, how'd that come about?
Well, ATSSA was founded in the late 1960s, and they looked for their first executive director who happened to live in this area. And the association started off as a very small trade association, and it was he and his wife as the part-time secretary that were the first staff of the association, so they agreed to locate it where it would be an easy commute for him, and that was right here in Stafford.
And now you're up by the Riverside.
We are right next to the Riverside Dinner Theater.
Roger Wentz with the American Traffic Safety Services Association, our guest. I guess the name is kind of self-explanatory of what you do. You're involved with traffic safety.
Exactly. We call ourselves sort of the roadway infrastructure guys. That is, we look at safety from the roadway viewpoint. And actually, ATSSA was started by 7 people who got together in the basement of our founder's home and came together and said, we need to train people and focus more on traffic safety, and that was really the beginning of the association.
As far as you're the CEO?
That's correct.
And so I would imagine with the location of where you're at, you're involved a lot with issues on Capitol Hill?
Especially around this time, because the highway bill is reauthorized, as they call it, every 6 years. It's sort of like the farm bill. It comes back periodically. And this is the year that it's supposed to be addressed by Congress. There's a lot of talk of delay. There's a disagreement between the two sides of Congress, the House and the Senate, as to whether we should move forward quickly or whether we should take a little more time and delay the bill for a year or so.
What do you think? What parts of this bill do you like? Are there parts that concern you?
Well, we'd like to see them move forward as quickly as possible. As you know, Virginia is, like many other states, in need of funds. Those federal funds comprise about 40% of all roadway funds spent in the country from year to year. And there's a lot of talk about upping the safety money, about going from about $1 billion a year to $2 billion dedicated just for safety. So we'd like to see that done as quickly as possible so we can cut down on the number of lives lost on the roadway.
What have you heard? What's going to happen to the bill?
Well, if I had that crystal ball now, instead of being CEO of ATSSA, I'd be a very highly paid consultant in downtown Washington. On the House side, Chairman Oberstar wants to be on time, and that means by September 30th of this year. On the Senate side, there is some tendency to agree with the administration and talk about up to an 18-month delay. I think they'll end up with some compromise. I don't think it'll necessarily get done by September 30th of this year.
Okay, so something to watch. I guess, are hearings going on right now?
The House has been very aggressive. Chairman Oberstar has held more hearings in a year than previously were done in 2 years' time. So he's been very aggressive in moving forward and looking at every side of this bill. It doesn't just cover highways, it covers other aspects of transportation as well, transit, aviation, etc. So he's been very aggressive in trying to move this forward.
Over the years, with your involvement and as with just the organization and what you see as far as road safety, are our roads safer today?
Well, roads are a lot safer today than they were, say, in the 1960s. So if you look back 40 years ago, 45 years ago, you'd be seeing probably 40,000 people that die annually over the last 4 or 5 years on our roadway, and it was probably closer to 55 or 60,000 then. So our roads are safer, and the safest roads, believe it or not, are the interstates, even though they're the highest speed roads. They have a lot fewer roadway fatalities than do rural roads.
And you wouldn't think that. I mean, I think a lot of people, that's not the general thought.
Right. Most people think that a lot of the deaths are on the interstate because of the high speed and higher speed limits. But in fact, you have about a 2.25 chance out of 1 million vehicle miles traveled to be a fatality on a rural road, and it's about half that on an urban road. So you're twice as likely to die on a rural road as an urban road.
you mentioned that roads are safer since the 1960s. What's changed to make them safer?
Well, to some extent, some of the geometrics have changed. We know how to design safer roads, but there's been tremendous advances in some simple things like signage. Signs are brighter now. You can see them, especially at night. There's a technical term called retroreflective. I can just about barely get that out of my mouth, but what it means is that when you drive at night, your headlights strike that sign. You can see it at a further distance than you could have 30 or 40 years ago and make your driving decision more quickly, make a better decision. And the striping on the roadway now has glass beads in it, so it reflects, and you can see what do you drive by the edge line in the rain or adverse weather. You look for the stripes to help keep you on the road. Those are a lot more technologically advanced today than they were 20 or 30 or 40 years ago.
We're going to talk more about road safety issues. Roger Wentz with the American Traffic Safety Services Association with us this morning on Fredericksburg Today. It's now 8:15 on Newstalk 1230 WFVA.